Who I think the state as a whole would vote for in the primary, I almost think Bernie Sanders is gonna do the job.
I'm gonna predict that Senator Sanders will win in New Hampshire. And on the other side, I do think that there's a lot of people who are angry at Washington, and I think a lot of that anger is going to come out in a vote for Donald Trump. But I think one of the other things that's important about New Hampshire is it's not just who wins, it's who does better than expected. So there could be people who we don't hear about, and if they come in third or fourth, that person, it could be Governor Kasich, who does better than expected, and that's just as important as winning New Hampshire.
John Kasich has spent a lot of time in our state. He's doing a lot of town hall events. He's been to Hopkinton twice. He's really putting what I think, the time into it. And he may not finish first, but I think, in other states he's not a well-known person, I think, nationally. But here in New Hampshire, he, being in the top 3 coming out of it, it will raise his profile, I think, if he's able to do it.
I think people are really latching on to Bernie Sanders because they like who he is and what he's doing. I would guess that on the Republican side, it's going to be much closer, and New Hampshire tends to sort of come out somewhere much more moderate, I would say. And it would not surprise me if one of the 3 governors that are left sort of rose to the top. I think we're not going to know until Tuesday night, really, how people voted, partly because I think a lot of people haven't even decided.
Without a doubt, Donald Trump has a following here in the state, so he will be likely one of the 3. If he's not, that will be a story coming out in New Hampshire in and of itself. And then I think, John Kasich would probably be in those top 3, and then maybe, Marco Rubio. I'm a bit surprised that Chris Christie hasn't really caught on. Having the state endorsement. He also, the state union leader endorsement, but he's also put a lot of time into the state, but for some reason, he doesn't seem to be capitalizing on it.
It's probably going to be Rubio. People just don't seem to like Cruz. I think Trump is going to step in it here one of these days.
I hope Bernie wins for the Democrats. Candles burning and prayers issued, chicken bone, voodoo, any religion. For Republicans, I think Trump might get it because I am seeing more signs than I would expect. I gave a man in town a ride to a barbershop in Concord, and it was like super Trump land, and I wouldn't have guessed that it was, but they were all making America great again in that barbershop. There's my opinion. I'm afraid, kind of like the Donald.
I think Trump, he's a brilliant businessman, but, he has the social skills of a billy goat, in my opinion.
I am drawn to John Kasich, I think, this time around. He's shown that he can bring people together. His message in an election cycle that seems to be fueled by a lot of adversity and loud opinions. All the events that I've gone to, he's only struck a very positive tone and hasn't really gone where a lot of other candidates have gone.
Well, Bernie certainly has a message that a lot of people are accepting around here. I agree with that message. I just don't agree that he's the person that's going to be able to do that.
I've said all along that Hillary has a lot of experience, and she's well known and probably has a good background for running for the office. My objection is there's almost a dynasty with the Clintons, and I think that they're voted in on that premise. I like a newcomer in there.
I hope Bernie Sanders gets it. I think Hillary probably will, but it's going to be very close.